have x and y also in it. Like fundamentally, if you remember, area of a rectangle. What is formula for area of a rectangle? Length into breadth. Whereas area of square is only side square. Area of triangle, half into base into height. So if I want to find the area of a rectangle, how many variables are there? I mean, how many unknowns are there? I don't know both. I need to know both the length as well as breadth. There are two unknowns in it, L and B. Whereas finding triangle, I need to find the base as well as height. Whereas observe this area of square. How many unknowns are there? If I know the side, I can find the area. So there is only one unknown. Such a polynomial having only one variable with it is called as polynomial in one variable. So what should we call if we have two variables, x and y? Polynomials in two variables, polynomials in three variables, right? Standard form of a polynomial, how it looks with one variable. So it's like, though I wrote this example, 7x cubed minus 6x to the power of 5 plus x to the power of 2 minus 2x plus x to the power of 7 minus 3x to the power of 9, like this. Now there are 5 to 7 terms in this whole expression. I think 6 terms are there in this. But how can it be, sir, like this? How do I put it in this form? What do we mean by this form? If you observe, the beginning mein Arnav told us the terms are arranged in descending powers. First x power n, then x power n minus 1, 1 power less than that, 1 power less than that, followed till the least power should be 0, because after this if I extend, I have to write this is x power 1. When I write 1 minus 1, this is x power 0. After this, if I write, it should be x to the power of 0 minus 1. The moment x to the power of 0 minus 1 comes in the sequence, it's no more going to be a polynomial, because polynomial condition is there should be only positive powers. So every polynomial will end with a constant. After that, there will be no more terms. To say that it should end with a constant, we say the polynomial should, the variables should be arranged in descending powers. That means this big expression, if I want to express this in a standard polynomial form, then I should not start with 3 power. I should start with the highest power. So what will be the standard form? Minus 3 x to the power of 9. Then what is the next term? There is something called n minus 1. That means for me n is 9, because this is the highest power. Now after 9, what should be the term? I need 9 minus 1. Where is this 9 minus 1 term? I don't have any power 8 term. So in standard form, what should I mention? 0 into x to the power of 9 minus 1, that is 8. Then after this 8, what should be the next term? 8 minus 1, that means 7. Do I have a 7 term? Yes, I have. So it should be 1 times x to the power of 7. Then what should be the next term? 7 minus 1, that is I need x power 6 term. But I don't have an x power 6 term. So it should be plus 0 times x to the power of 6. Then 6 minus 1, 5. Yes, I have a 5 term. It is minus 6 x to the power of 5. After this, I need power 4, which I don't have. So 0 times x to the power of 4. Then I need cube, my 4 minus 1, 3, which is present, 7 times x cube. Then one more power less, 2. Do I have a 2 term? Yes, x square, 1 into x square. Then 1 less, x square, 2 minus 1, x power 1. Yes, we have minus 2 times x power 1. But still this is not standard form, because I have not ended up with a constant. I need an x power 0 term, which is not present. So it is 0 x to the power of 0. Now this is the standard form of this big polynomial which I wrote. Now remember, an expression of this form where all these A0, A1, A2, blah, 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 all are constants, and X is a variable, only one variable present, and N is a non-negative integer. If this is non-negative, if it is not a non-negative integer, then such expression cannot be a polynomial. So why is this last word important? Because I need a polynomial for every non-negative integer and the expression. Such combination is called a polynomial. Now standard form should begin with the highest power and end with a constant. Is that clear to all? Now why I am giving importance on this standard form so much is, unless I know standard form, you cannot perform one operation in math, that is division. Division is not possible if you don't consider these zero terms, I mean continuous terms of 9, 8, 7, 6, then division becomes difficult. And once the division becomes difficult, what will happen is LCM of a polynomial and HCF of a polynomial becomes difficult. Are we clear with standard form? It's nothing new. Its only thing is what is needed, I mentioned there. Should we move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Sahas? Then comes degree of a polynomial. Now before I proceed to this degree of a polynomial, let me use the same old screen. I'll remove this so that when it comes on the screen, you'll be more clear. In fact, I'll go back to this. Where was I writing all this? Okay, I'll use this. I'll consider the same example. 3x square minus 4x cube into y square plus 2x to the power of half y to the power of 3 by 2 minus 5x, something like this. And again I put up the same question. Degree of, power of variable and the power of term. What is power of variable in the first case? It's 2. Here it is 3 and 2. Here it is half and 3 by 2. Here it is 1. But what are power of terms? Only one term. Here it is 2. This is 5. This is 1 half plus 3 by 2, that is 4 by 2, that is 2. And this is 1. Right. Collect all that. Now for a word called degree, by the next slide when I am going to define. I'm not using the word degree of a polynomial, I'm calling a degree of expression, because I know I'm for sure this is not a polynomial, this is only an expression, because powers are not integers. Power of variables are not integers, therefore this is only an expression. Now how do we determine the degree of expression? Pick up the highest power of the term. Now degree has nothing to do with power of variable. The degree has to do with only power of term. For the term, whichever is the highest power, that will be the degree. Now for this, the degree is 5. So degree of a expression, or for that matter in the coming days, polynomial, degree is determined by power of term. Is the expression a polynomial or not is determined by power of variables. But degree is determined by power of term. Is the difference clear to all?
Yeah.
Bhumika, can we move ahead to define?
Yes, sir.
So when it comes to degree of a polynomial for a one variable, no problem. The highest power which exists, such that now this is the most crucial thing. Yesterday only I was having an Olympiad class where people neglected the conditions. A0 should not be 0. Like if I consider the same example, 3x to the power of 5 minus 4x to the power of 4 plus 6x cube minus 2x square plus 5x minus 1. I wrote this expression which is up to 5 degree and all terms are present, no zero term. Power 5, power 4, power 3, power 2, power 1, power 0. 1 is nothing but x power 0. So which is the highest power in this? Power is 5. Now what was my question yesterday is, because again just now I told you, if there is no term missing, suppose there is no cubic term in this, what we used to do? Write it as 0 times x cube. If this term I did not give you, then you are writing 0 into x cube to bring it to a standard form, right? Now, if I miss one of the term and I write it as 0 into x cube, then why don't I write it as 0 into x to the power of 6, 0 into x to the power of 7, then also the polynomial remains the same thing only. Now which is the highest degree? Power is 7 here, power is 6 here, the highest power is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, which is the highest power in this case now. Power is becoming 7. But can I call this as a polynomial of 7th degree? I have to stop doing it, otherwise, why should I stop with 7? I can also write it as 0 times x to the power of 100, x to the power of 99. Any power I can keep on adding. So degree is determined from the standard form of a polynomial, provided the highest degree term should be the last term on the left hand side. On the right hand side, the last term should be a constant. After this, you could not add zeros. In between these two, that means from the highest to the least, that is 0. In between them, if you are missing a term, add it with 0 times x cube, no problem. But once you identify the highest power with non-zero term, you cannot add the terms below it. The standard form should begin with a non-zero term and end with a constant term. The constant can be 0, no problem. If there is no constant, I'll write plus 0. Now again go back to your definition and see that in a polynomial of the form a0 x power n so on, that is x power 9, x power 8, x power 7, so on up to constant, starting from nth power to constant, where starting term cannot be 0 and only one variable is present x, then that highest power n is called degree of the polynomial. Now read the definition again and understand what I am talking. If there is any confusion, let me know. So depending on the degree, we have different types of polynomials on the degree as well as on the coefficients. One is constant polynomial, a polynomial which has degree 0. Now that was my first question when I asked you. How many terms will be there in the constant polynomial? How many terms will be there in a constant polynomial?
Sir, 1.
Has to be only one term. And that term has to be constant. 3, that's all. Minus 2, that's all. So now can I say every real number is a polynomial? Which is a constant polynomial, no problem. Every real number is a polynomial. See the beauty. Number system. When we started learning the math, that was number system. We learned 5, 2 by 3, 3. First we started with natural numbers, then whole numbers, then integers, then positive integers, negative integers, then rational numbers, then irrational numbers. So many things that we did with the numbers. Then we introduced a word called variable. The introduction of variable has given you something called term. That term, combination of terms has led you to expression. Expression with certain conditions, non-negative variable powers. non-negative variable integral powers has given you polynomial. And the beginning where you started your maths, the number, every number is now convertible to a polynomial. Yes, it has a specific name. It's called a constant polynomial because its degree is 0. And every constant polynomial will have only one term in it. Now understand my question. Is every single term represent a constant polynomial? Is every single term represent a constant polynomial?
No, sir.
No? Tell me a term which is not a constant polynomial. Your answer is right, but what I want is how you reached the conclusion.
Sir, 2y.
2y is a term, but it's not a constant term, not a constant polynomial because y is present. Every real number is a constant polynomial, but every term need not be a constant polynomial. But every constant polynomial will have only one term, but everything that has one term need not be a constant polynomial. Let's move ahead. What is a zero polynomial? I think Bhumika referred this. In a polynomial, if all the coefficients are zero, that means if nothing is present, then also there is a polynomial. That zero polynomial is a polynomial which is actually coming from nothing. When I write 0 times x square, 0 times x plus 0 is a polynomial, which is called zero polynomial. This is a special type of polynomial. This is a zero polynomial. Now my question is, what is there in this polynomial? Do you see a term in it? Visibly,
No,
yes, there are
sir.
3 terms in it. 0 into x square is one term, 0 into x is a one term, 0 is another term. If I add these 3 terms, I have an expression. There are no negative powers to the variables because variable powers are x square, 2 is the power, x power 1, 1 is the power, x power 0, 0 is the power. So variable powers are non-negative integral values only, satisfying every condition of my polynomial. But thing is, do you really see a term there? There is nothing there. Only 0 is present. That means we are able to now create one specific polynomial from nothing also. Right? Now based on pure degree, if there is a polynomial with degree 1, then it is called as linear. Linear in maths is first degree. Quadratic. Quadratic in maths is 2. Cubic is 3. Biquadratic is 4. Same is the name carried for polynomial also. If a polynomial has degree 2, then it's called quadratic polynomial. And a degree 3 is called a cubic polynomial. Now understand the beauty of this and tell me the answer. In a linear polynomial standard form, how many terms will be there? In a linear polynomial in standard form, how many terms will be there?
The one term.
Tell me what is that one term?
Sir, x plus 1.
Then I have two terms. As you said, there are two terms there. X is one term, 1 is one term. है ना अर्नव?
Yes, sir.
Every standard linear polynomial will have two terms in it, and it appears to be in the form ax plus d. Power 1, power 0, because I need 0 term also. If nothing is there, if you say only 3x, this is also linear polynomial, but this is not standard. Standard is plus 0. So first point that I want to say is every standard linear polynomial should have 2 terms. Now tell me how many terms should be there in a standard quadratic polynomial. There should be an x square term, there should be an x term, there should be a constant term, right? So it should be in the form ax square plus bx plus c. Maybe it could be like x square plus 5x only. I'll write it as plus 0, no problem. Maybe I have x square only, then also no problem. We'll write it as 0 into x plus 0. 0 addition after x square is not possible. To the left of x square is not possible. But after that I can add zeros. I can have x square plus 3. Is it quadratic polynomial? Yes, highest degree is 2. But it is not standard form. Standard form becomes x square plus 0 times x plus 3. So now this is standard form. So my point is, for a standard quadratic, if the degree is 2, then I'll have 3 terms. If the degree is 3, what should be the standard form? A, x cube one term, B, x square another term, C, x third term, constant, D. How many terms are there in this? There are 4 terms. Now if I stop here, can somebody tell me what is going to be the conclusion that I want to reach on this? It's clear. First degree, 2 terms. Second degree, 3 terms. Third degree, 4 terms. Can I say
plus 1.
the nth degree polynomial will have n plus 1 terms in standard form? Sorry, I couldn't put it in typing, so please mention this property. In general, an nth degree polynomial, in its standard form.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When I asked you what are the different operations you do with polynomial, first thing is the moment I see a variable anywhere, whether it's a term, whether it's an expression, or it's a polynomial. Maybe here the discussion is only about a polynomial, but in general, the first operation that we perform when we see a variable, be it a term, be it an expression, or be it a polynomial, or tomorrow be it a function. The end point of this variable is function. The beginning point is term. Functions are different. We'll come across this in 12th and 11th classes, don't worry. But it's an extension of polynomial. So wherever I see a variable, and the variable's character itself is, it can take different values. It doesn't have any fixed value. Then what happens is, what will happen to my expression if I give this value to it? Like if I go by Arnav's example at the beginning, perimeter, that's an expression or a quantity, right? He said 2 pi r. When he draws a circle with radius 3 units, his circle will have its own circumference, which may not be the same if I draw a circle at my own place, because my radius is different. So because my variable radius is changing, my circumference will also be changing. Because Bhumika's radius is different from my radius that I draw, then Bhumika's circle that she has drawn will have a different circumference. Now circumference is an outcome of the radius of individual circles. That outcome purely in mathematics is called value of a polynomial. If you have a big expression, till now we are dealing with all expressions and variables only. So if I say 3x square minus 4x plus 5 is a polynomial or is an expression, Arnav, give me some value of your variable x equal to how much you like.
Sir, 2.
Arnav wants x equal to 2. Bhumika, some variable value for x.
Sir, 5.
Again, I'll try my luck with Milan. Milan, can you mention some variable value for x? Sorry, I failed again. Sahas, can you type whatever the value you like for x? Sahas gives me 7. And I also need, right? I am also a participant. I'll take one of the best values, 0. Now see, for Arnav's value, the expression becomes 3 times 2 square minus 4 times 2 plus 5. That's 4 3 is 12 plus 5 17 minus 8. So Arnav's value became 7. Whereas the polynomial did not change. The polynomial remains same, 3x square minus 4x plus 5 only. The same polynomial for Bhumika's value is going to be 3 times 5 square, 75, 25 into 3, minus 4 times 5, 20, that is 75 minus 20, 50, plus 5, 55. So this is Bhumika's value. This is Arnav's value. Then Sahas gave us 7. 3 times 7 square, 49. 49 into 3, 147. Minus 4 into 7, 28. Plus 5. So how much? I missed the flow. 3 times 49, 120 plus 27. 147 plus 5. 152 minus 22. So 28. If I am correct, it's 124. Yeah, Sahas is trying to talk. 3 into 0 square. For me, it is going to be simplest value, 5. Now look at this. Same polynomial, is it not giving me different outcomes? Each of these outcomes, for I put that in bracket Arnav's value. I'll say this is polynomial's value at 2, polynomial's value at 5, polynomial's value at 7. Yes, I was trying to say something. Okay. So when I put some variable a as any constant into that variable value for x, then substituting the value of x with a, whatever I get, that output is called as value of the polynomial. And how do we denote it? Polynomial at 2, polynomial at 5. Is that clear? I'm just waiting for Sahas to get back. Arnav, trying to say something?
No, sir.
So how do we get the value of a polynomial? It simply replace the variable with a given constant. Now, meanwhile, others try to solve this problem. Simple problem only. Same as I did. 2x square plus 5x minus 7 at x equal to 2, x equal to 1 and x equal to minus 3. Quick. Arnav says it's going to be 11 for p of 2, 0 for p of 1 and 1 for minus 3. Let's check it out. 2 into 2 square plus 5 into 2 minus 7. 8, 17, 18, minus 7. 11 is correct. 2 plus 5 into 2, 7, minus 7. 0 is also correct. 2 into minus 3 whole square. 5 into minus 3 minus 7. That gives me 18 minus 15 minus 7. I think your P of minus 3 is wrong. That's 18 minus 22. And now check your P of minus 3 value. Yeah, Bhumika is right. What is he typing? Arnav?
Sir, shall we proceed further?
Okay. So should we move ahead? All right. The next concept is on this kind of a value. See, when I kept P equal to 2, I mean X equal to 2, you got 11. When you got kept minus 3, you got some 1, maybe minus 4. But when I put 1, I got 0. Now getting 0 is more important for the next concept. That is called 0 of the polynomial. Zeros, in fact, of polynomials. But only for definition I use this word. And after that I call it roots. I'm sure you might have heard of what is the root of, what is solution of, right? So maybe the root and the zeros of a polynomial concept will not be done in the next 5 to 8 minutes. So what I would prefer is I'll stop the class today at value of the polynomial and we'll begin with the same example at P of 1 which is giving me 0. So from the next topic that we start will be those polynomial values which gives me 0. When will the polynomial value become 0? That will be the point of interest for the next class, right? Now, Sahas, Bhumika and Arnav, is today's discussion clear to you all? Particularly, I see a little confusion when it comes to, while determining the degree and power of the variable and power of the term. Are you clear with that now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Just go through your notes which is given. Give importance to each point there. Maybe there are 3 to 4 solid examples also you'll come across. Try to do them by yourself for value of the polynomial. When the value becomes 0, what is this root? What is 0 of a polynomial? And if I don't give you the point, how do you find it? How do you find the zeros where the polynomial will become 0? There again we'll use all the applications that you learned so far. How to factorize a polynomial, how to take something common, how to cancel the common terms, blah, 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 all these mathematical operations, addition, multiplication, division, these operations will be helpful for finding zeros of the polynomial. That is the main idea behind this discussion topic. So that's why that won't be so easy, simple to conclude in one slide. That's why I'm not extending it today, right? See you in the next class. Sahas, are we clear so far? He's out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you, Arnav. Thank you, Bhumika.
Thank you, sir.